So I'm going to discuss the silica value chain, and I will describe all the different industrial products which can be manufactured from silica sand and where silica sand can be used. It is very important to understand what is silica and what is silica sand. The term silica is used for the silicon dioxide. The main mineral of silica is quartz, and quartz is a crystalline form of silica. Silica also occur in amorphous form, non-crystalline form. Now, second important thing is to know what is silica sand. So you have to remember that the term sand is nothing but a particle size. The term sand is used for natural particles ranging in size from 2 mm to 0.06 mm. Silica sand is made up of natural quartz. By the way, there are many different kinds of sands. There is feldspathic sand made up of feldspar. There is ilmenite sand. There is heavy mineral sand. But today we are talking about silica sand, the most common sand in the world, on the earth crust. So the term sand is used for natural particles ranging in size from 2 mm to 0.06 mm. Silica sand is made up of natural quartz particles. If you see a single grains of silica, it is quartz. It is made up of mineral quartz, and the size of the particles theoretically ranges between 2 mm to 0.06 mm. Now, we should be able to differentiate between silica sand and quartz. I told you silica sand is also made up of quartz. Quartz is like a rock, lump. Silica sand is loose in form of somewhat rounded grains. So silica sand is naturally occurring material made up of quartz mineral, and found in size ranging from 2 mm to 0.06 mm. On the other hand, quartz, that is lump quartz, occur in form of veins and can be quarried as large lumps, chunks. Some commercial products are manufactured from silica sand and others from lump quartz, because chemically, mineralogically both are same. Some industrial products are manufactured from both silica sand and quartz. I will give you an example so you can understand that in those countries where silica sand is abundant, like Saudi Arabia, the glass will be manufactured from silica sand. And in countries where silica sand is scarce but quartz is abundant, the glass will be produced from quartz. Now you can imagine that quartz need to be crushed and pulverized because it's in form of big lumps, chunks. It's a rock. So it needs to be crushed and pulverized to change it to sand. Crushing and grinding will increase the cost of the raw material. Difference between quartz sand and silica sand. When you will read some reports, you will see the terminology used as silica sand and quartz sand. Some people use these terms for the same material, but in fact, generally the term silica sand is used for natural quartz sand, natural sand made up of quartz. However, when lump quartz is crushed and pulverized in small particles, it is called quartz sand, and some people call it silica sand. Our objective is to discuss naturally occurring silica sand and its industrial uses and markets. Now the question is, where do we find silica sand? The commercial resources of silica sand. Silica sand can be found as river sand, like in Malaysia and Thailand and in many other countries. Silica sand can be found along the beach. It's called beach sand. The best example is Australia, Vietnam. Dune sand, as see in Saudi Arabia, we have dune sand. The desert, Al-Nafud desert, Rabal Khali is full of dune sand. But it is not considered as industrial sand. Why? Because the dune sand contain a lot of impurities, and to remove these impurities by processing is not commercially viable. It's not economically viable. So another commercial source of silica sand is sandstone. The best example is Saudi Arabia. So in Saudi Arabia, all the commercial industrial silica sand come from sandstone, which is a rock, and we crush that rock, we break that rock to get the silica sand. Silica content of silica sand is a decision making component. For many industrial uses, we need silica sand with greater than 97% silica. So there is silica sand which has impurities, so total silica content decreases. So silica content of a silica sand can be 95%, 94%. But for many commercial industrial applications, the silica content of the silica sand should be greater than 97%. By the way, in Global United Mines silica sand quarry, we have silica sand which is 98 and 99% pure. Iron oxide is another important thing, and not only iron oxide but iron oxide and heavy minerals are almost always unwanted constituents in silica sand. The presence of iron produces unwanted coloration, and heavy minerals does not melt together with silica sand and they leave clinkers in the manufactured products. So for example, when we are making clear flat glass, and if there is iron, more than 500 ppm iron in the silica sand, this iron will give a red or the brown or green coloration tinge to the manufactured glass. And if the silica sand has heavy minerals, what happens? Heavy minerals will not melt at the same temperature when the silica sand melts. So they remain as a clinker. So they appear as a clinker in the manufactured glass. Importance of processing. Processing is very important. Like all other industrial minerals, silica sand also needs processing before it can be used in any commercial application. Processing can be simple, it can be complicated, it can be very complicated. But we need some kind of processing before we use silica sand into a commercial process. In the processing, we remove undesirable constituents from silica sand, and in this way the percentage of silica increases. At the same time, we also produce the required particle size distribution. In case of glass, generally we need particle size ranging between 0.1 to 0.5 millimeter, and iron oxide should be less than 0.03%. Let us discuss the industrial uses of silica sand. There are industrial uses of silica sand which are based on the silica content, the purity of silica sand. For example, clear glass. The silica sand which is used to produce clear glass, they should be less than 300 ppm iron oxide. Clear glass. Clear glass can take lower quality silica sand, but The large manufacturers of bottle glass, the colored bottle glass, for example, the beer bottles, they should have the same color wherever they are produced from a company, from a manufacturer. If it is produced in one country or second country or third country, their color should be same. So what they do, the manufacturers of colored bottle glass, they use a high quality silica sand and they add the major amount of iron oxide to get a uniform color. Specialty glass, there are so many special glasses, and in that case, if we want to produce specialty glass from silica sand, the iron content should be less than 150 parts per million. For solar glass is used to cover the solar panels. In this case, we need a very low iron silica sand, and iron should be less than 85 parts per million. Metallurgical sand. Sand is also used as a refractory sand. It is used to manufacture silicon carbide. Silica sand is used enormous volumes, tonnage of silica sand are used for recreational purpose. Silica sand is also used as poultry grade for chickens. It is used to produce sodium silicate, silica chemicals, and then the sodium silicate is further used to produce precipitated silica. Silica sand is also used to produce other chemicals such as potassium silicate. Now, in some cases, silica sand is used because of its shape and size. For example, frac sand. Frac sand is used in the unconventional oil and gas production. This frac sand, I will describe it in detail later. Frac sand should be somewhat rounded, and its particle size distribution is also important. Filtration sand, the filtration sand which is used to filter drinking water and sewage water and well water, its particle size distribution and purity of silica sand is important. Casting sand is also for the casting purpose, molding and casting. The silica sand should be rounded. Now let us discuss glass making sand. Silica sand is the primary component of all conventional and specialty glass manufacturing. Color, transparency, and strength of a glass entirely related to the purity of silica sand. It means high silica and low iron and low heavy minerals. Clear flat glass. It is produced by a float process. It is used in window glass, structural glass for the buildings, high-rise buildings, pattern glass, glazed glass, which include low E glass, and this is the low E glass, double glaze or triple glaze, which keeps your air conditioning cost low because it does not allow the flow of heat across the glass. In countries like Canada, this low E glass reduces the cost of heating. Solar glass, TV screen, smartphone, laptops, all these glasses are specialty glasses. Combination of modern technology and high quality of silica sand used in formulation of strong and durable glass of smartphone such as Gorilla Glass. There are so many types of glass. The best glass is classified as grade A glass, optical and ophthalmic glass. Then tableware and lead crystal glass, grade B. Borosilicate glass, grade C. Colorless clear container glass, grade D. Clear flat glass, grade E. Colored container glass, grade F. Glass for insulation fiber, grade G. It is very important to control the iron content in glass making and ceramic. Almost in all products that are produced from silica sand. So in the colored glass, which is brown in color, the maximum allowable limit of iron oxide is from 0.4 to 0.38%. For insulation fiber, it should be maximum iron oxide should be less than 0.3% plus minus 0.02. Colored glass, which is green, we need little bit better quality silica sand. So iron content should be less than 0.25% plus minus 0.02%. Float glass, it needs 0.095% iron oxide plus minus 0.002%. Architectural float glass for the high-rise building, the maximum amount allowable limit of iron oxide is 0.040 and so on. The best quality crystal glass, in the best quality crystal glass, the iron content should be almost negligible, less than 100 ppm or less than 0.010%. Let's discuss filtration sand. Drinking water filtration, wastewater processing and purification of well water requires special grades of silica sand in terms of chemical composition, particle size, distribution. Swimming pool filtration is an important use of this sand. Uniform grain shape and grain size produce effective filtration bed and help in removing contaminants in drinking water and wastewater. So during the processing, we keep in mind that for what purpose the silica sand is produced. If it is produced for glass, our flow sheet is different. If it is produced for filtration sand, the flow sheet is different. It is the same machinery. Everything is same, but only that we do the particle size distribution little bit different. And from one quarry, we can produce more than 20 different products for 20 different applications. We can give them different names, we can give them different numbers, and we can sell them individually for the niche markets. Due to the inertness of silica sand does not react with water during filtration because it is inert. Foundry sand, which is also called casting sand. Foundry sand, silica sand is heat resistant. It will not melt. The silica sand melt at 1700 degrees centigrade, whereas all the other metals, copper, iron, etc., they melt at lower temperature. So silica sand is used for casting. It is used as foundry sand for producing molds and coats for casting metals. Particle size of the foundry sand is about 850 parts per million, plus minus 75 micron. Particle size of the foundry sand should be less than 850 micron, plus minus 75 micron. Chemically, silica should be greater than 98%, and there are strict limits on calcium oxide and magnesium oxide. Silica sand for producing silica chemicals. There are many silica chemicals which are produced from silica sand. One example is the sodium silicate. In that case, for the production of sodium silicate, the particle size should be 840 micron plus minus 150 micron, and silica should be greater than 99.4%. Iron should be less than 0.03%, and alumina should be less than 0.1%. Soda ash is mixed with silica sand at 2400 degree Fahrenheit to produce sodium silicate. Certain chemicals such as sodium silicate and potassium silicates are produced from silica sand. Precipitated silica manufacturing. Precipitated silica is manufactured using sodium silicate. It is not produced directly from sand. No, we have to produce sodium silicate first from the silica sand and soda ash, and then Sodium sodium silicate is used as a feed material for in the production of precipitated silica. Precipitated silica is an amorphous silica, that is non-crystalline silica, and it is found in micron size. By the way, in 1 millimeter there are 1000 microns, and the particle size of precipitated silica is 1 micron or less than 1 micron. So 1 over 1,000ths of a millimeter. So particles produced by dissolving sodium silicate in sulfuric acid and filtration of precipitates. Precipitated silica is used to manufacture a large number of industrial products. Silicon carbide is another metal that is produced from silica sand. You have to remember that silicon is not found in nature. All the silicon has affinity towards oxygen, so it combined with oxygen and found silica. So if we need silicon, we have to remove oxygen from silica to convert silica into silicon, and that process is called reduction process, and it is very costly process. Silicon carbide, SiC, is a refractory and abrasive material. It is produced from silica sand by reduction process. Production of silicon carbide requires good quality silica sand with D50 minimum 200 micron and a source of carbon such as petroleum coke. 50% silica sand is mixed with 40% petroleum coke, 7% common salt and 3% sawdust. Silicon carbide is used as abrasive, the cutting tools for grinding, and also as a refractory material. In Saudi Arabia, there was a project to produce silicon carbide as a joint venture between a Saudi company and Washington Mills of USA. But this project abandoned due to unknown reasons. Silica sand is used for recreational purpose. This sand is a clean, screen and size sand that has minimum clay and other impurities and has constant and consistent uniform particle size distribution. This category includes silica sand. This category includes silica sand used as playground sand and artificial turf fields. It is used as a golf sand and beach volleyball. Silica sand is used in horse stables, and it is also used for environmental purpose. Children play sand, which comes in the boxes, and these boxes are kept inside for the school children's. It is used for agriculture and horticulture. Silica sand is also used for the building material. For all these applications, silica sand is just screened to get different particle size distribution. So once again, I want to tell you that there is no extra investment involved. There is one-time investment and you have a processing plant, and by producing different particle size distribution, by doing the classification in a different way, we can produce a large number of products. Golf sand, it is used as a golf sand, and bunker sand. Bunker sand is a subangular grains of crystalline silica with a hardness and uniformity that is far superior to ordinary sand. Silica sand is also used for landscaping. Coarse grain silica sand is used to cover the ground in front of shopping lots, schools, buildings, etc. The sand cover will act as a dust depressant. Silica sand used in unconventional oil and gas production. So what does it mean, unconventional oil and gas? Until now, the oil and gas was produced from the fractured rock formations. So when we drill the hole, the oil and gas start flowing into the well and it can be pumped. But now we are finding more and more deposits where the oil and gas is found in the rocks such as shale, which has low permeability, so oil and gas cannot flow. It is there. The rock shale has very high porosity. There is enough gas and oil in it, but it cannot flow. So what we do, we take the frac sand, special kind of sand, we mix it with some kind of fluids and we pump it inside the hole with very high pressure, and this liquid loaded with the frac sand, it breaks the rock formations. When it breaks the rock formation, it forms the fractures and oil and gas start flowing through these fractures into the hole, into the well, and where it can be pumped down. So frac sand is required in various size range such as 20-40 mesh, 40-70 mesh, 30-50 mesh. However, the most recent uses in this sector are of fine grades, so even from 100 to 400 microns are used. Frac sand is, I have already explained it to you. This is important, and I should give you some idea that in a single oil well or gas well, 100 to 200 truckload of frac sands are pumped. This picture shows you how the frac sand is used in the oil and gas production. Silica sand quarry can produce many products just by screening and producing different particle size distribution. A number of silica sand products can be produced for various markets. Each product can be sold as the best suitable material for a single application, that is for the niche market. Each product can be given a name or a number. Another application of silica, coarse grained silica, which we can separate from our silica sand by screening. Ever heard the phrase as rare as hen's teeth? That's because chicken don't have teeth. When they take food into their beak, it's moistened by saliva but not chewed and pushed down in the throat by the tongue. So chickens need grit with their teeth. So they inhale sand, coarse sand, gritty sand, which goes inside the gizzard and it grinds the food taken into the gizzard. The gizzard, the combination of strong muscles movement and the insoluble chips of stones grind the food into a digestible mush. Enzymes which were added in the first part of the stomach break it down even further so it can be properly absorbed into the body when it passes from the gizzard into its intestine. Sizes of silica sand used as grade. For young chickens, it's about 1.58 mm. For older chicken, 4.7 mm. So it is classified as gravels, but which can be screened from the silica sandstone. For ostrich, we need bigger size as big as 9 mm. Although silica flower is not my topic, but I want to say that, I want to make it clear that silica flower is produced from the processed sand. We cannot just dig the sand and grind it and produce silica flower. It will be very dirty product. There will be iron there. So the color of the silica flower will be reddish brown or brick red in color. So we use for high tech applications, high value applications, we need a very nicely processed silica sand and this silica sand is dried, that it goes to the mill, ball mill. You can see the picture of the ball mill, and we use the ceramic or aluminum balls as a grinding media. So we make sure we don't use steel ball or iron balls, because they will add iron into the silica flour. So in the silica flour, the purity of silica is one thing, particle size is important, and in addition its whiteness and brightness also plays an important role. For different uses, the different quality of silica sand is used to produce silica flour. In addition, a specific particle size range is also needed for all different products. Silica flour is so fine, you imagine that when we are grinding silica sand into the ball mill, it change into powder, very fine powder. So how can we separate different sizes from this powder? For example, we want to separate 100 to 200 mesh, we want to separate 50 to 100 mesh, we want to separate 30 to 50 mesh. We cannot use screens because this fine silica sand will be stuck in the holes of the screens. So screens or sieves are not used for the classification. Instead, we have the air classifier or hydrocyclones, and these hydrocyclones or air classifiers are attached with the ball mill, and we can separate various particle size. Better the quality, the quality means high silica sand content and low impurities, and finer the particle size range, higher will be the market value. That's it.